So I did have to hop on here because I just have to say, I'm so grateful for wise counsel. It's really important that we keep people in our lives that can speak from experience, speak from a wise point of view. Because not a lot of times, but sometimes we may have friends who we confide in, and their direction might be a little more emotionally guided versus wisdom. And so I just have to start this video off by saying I'm very grateful for having wise counsel in my life, especially where I'm at now in life, because we all know life is a journey. So I just want to really start off with saying this because I think sometimes people take this for granted, and that is that people can see something that you did, be it out of emotion, anger, just whatever feeling. And it could be a reaction, it could be something that you just conjured up on your own, who knows, right? But what people don't see is the stuff that you don't do, the temptation that you overcome, the things that really offend you and you just give mercy. And people don't see mercy, especially if they're not the ones who are on the receiving end of that mercy. And even sometimes when they are on the receiving end of that mercy, they don't even recognize mercy if it slapped them across the face. So I just want to tell you, if you've ever been in a situation where you've definitely extended mercy and grace, it's not an easy battle, right? I mean, you think about acting in the flesh or acting in the spirit. That's literally what it is. So I wanted to talk about grace and mercy, of course. I also wanted to talk about growth and healing. The one thing about grace and mercy is that we want people to give us grace and mercy when we make mistakes, or if we make decisions that are not, pleasing, right? When we act in the flesh, we want grace and mercy extended to us. We want grace from Jesus, even though we don't deserve it all the time. But that's the thing about grace, it's given even though you don't deserve it. So with that being said, you being not deserving of it, you have to be just as much willing to give it. Just as much willing to give it. And so, this, let me throw a disclaimer out there. When I make videos or if I share posts, know that it is not just me acting or saying things or sharing things as if I don't need it to. So when I say things, some of it is experience that I need to even mold and grow even more in. Or if I share something that I found inspiring, I share it because if I felt it inspiring, somebody else that is probably following me may also find it that way. So I don't want anybody to get it twisted that, the stuff that I put out there is only for everybody else and not for me. So, just want to make that clear, because I think sometimes we get caught up in thinking that I'm just out here just, putting things out and not even taking the lessons in, when truly this is a journey, and I'm learning as I go, and I don't always make the best decisions. I make mistakes. I'm tempted to, just like everybody else. We are all sinners, right? So with that being said, please, don't put me on any pedestal. I don't put myself on a pedestal. I hope nobody puts me on a pedestal, because I'm not even deserving of a pedestal. My goal is to just show you the authenticity. So I'm starting to really learn that authenticity and just being who you are behind closed doors, out in public, being who you are, being authentic is opening doors to be, I don't want to say attacked, but criticized the most. Because when we don't look at the fact that we're all human, we're all sinners, we came into a fallen world, right? No matter what we do in life, no matter who we are in life, none of us has the right to call somebody else out, but we still do it. We still do it. It's a back and forth. And what makes one person doing it better than the next person doing it, right? But the goal is to have self-control, to not repay evil for evil, to not fall into temptation, to just be better. And in that, you are going to be tempted. Sometimes you're not going to pass the test. I mean, right? Like, if we was going to pass a test every time, there wouldn't be a test. But it's to, I'm saying that because, and hear me on this, the enemy knows and seeks our weaknesses. So that's where the enemy is going to attack the most. For me, my weakness is my children. Don't play with my kids, because mama bear coming out, right? And so using that to tempt me, the enemy will do that because the enemy wants to see you fail. The enemy wants destruction. The enemy wants division. The enemy don't want unity. And until we as Christians can accept that there is an actual enemy, because some people still don't believe that there is an enemy, even though God lays out how to go into spiritual battle. The Bible literally lays out how to go into spiritual battle. And so when we don't believe that there's an enemy, we don't see what we're really up against. So we tend to go after people and try to fight in the flesh. And I'm saying that because battles ought to be fought. This was gonna sound kind of bad, but on your knees, seriously, in prayer, with the word. Think about your weapons for spiritual warfare. And so with that being said, we sometimes have a tendency to go out and attack other people instead of really, really, really like going to God about it. And I'll tell you this, like, sometimes when you're in spiritual warfare, not sometimes, but when you in like real spiritual warfare, like, you can get tired. And sometimes it is like that temptation, you fall into it because maybe, you fell out of battle because you got distracted with something else. And that's the thing right there. When distractions come, that's when temptations have the opportunity to come back in. And I learned that. Just be real, I learned that. And so when we open up even the littlest bit of a door for the enemy to come back in, he's gonna try to find his way back in. And we just gotta fight harder and fight stronger and just realize that, like, hey, this is where my battle is. It's easy to take offenses from people and want to go back to the person who offended you and try to let them have it, or tell them a piece of your mind. Now I'm gonna tell you, you can be offended, you can have all the emotions in the world. That is okay. Have your emotions. I'm gonna be the first to say it. No, social media is not a safe space social media is not a safe space for all the time for our emotions. But however you got to get those emotions out, do what you have to do. But just know, as Christians, it is our duty to let them go. Let it go. Let the offenses go. Let it go. Because the more you hold on to that, the more you let it fester inside of you, what it turns into, it changes you. Okay? It changes you, and I'm just gonna say it's not for the good. Like, it doesn't change you for the good. And then you find yourself in a deeper sense to, now you're blinded, like they say, you got the scales over your eyes, like your heart is hardened. Like, you got to let the offenses go. It's not easy to let the offenses go. There's a couple of book recommendations that I'll throw out there. I mean, this is on top of reading the word and going into prayer, but there's a couple of books out there that I highly recommend just to kind of get you through it. Because even when, like, put it like this, holding on to an offense is a choice. It can be a tough choice, but it's a choice. And pride will cause us to hold on to offenses way longer and way stronger. And that pride, when it comes out, it's not pretty. So yeah, it's like the pride, we gotta overcome that. Something else I wanted to kind of like not just touch on, but just really, really make it be known is, know that your past does not define who you are. Sometimes we get hung up on what we've seen people do, or we find out something about their past and now we bringing it up, and that was 10 years ago, that was 5 years ago, that was 30 years ago. Like, that happened already. Like, when I say let it go, be like, Elsa, let it go. Okay? Like, who cares? What have they shown you today? What are they doing right now? How are they moving forward? What is their mindset like now? Because if I'm holding on to the same person that somebody was 10 years ago, and I'm stuck on who that person was 10 years ago, and they're right here in my face, and they ain't doing the same things, that ain't even who they are. And they're showing you right here, that's not who they are anymore. But you're holding that offense to them. And you probably wasn't even there. You just heard about it. But you holding that over their head. Why? Why? What have they shown you today? What have they shown you right now? What are they showing you that they're trying to do? And if you feel like that there's somebody that doesn't bring any good to the table for you, you don't have to occupy the same space. That's okay. That's okay. But that doesn't mean that there has to be harshness between you. You just have some maturity. You pray. You pray and ask God to bless them. And you move on. Or if you feel like you can, work it out with this person despite their past, do that. But don't forget about your own skeletons too, because if they're letting your past go and they're trying to accept who you are and saying like, okay, yeah, you did that, all right, cool, you did that, all right, cool, it was done. How we gonna move forward now, right? That's the type of people that God wants us to be. We can't forget that God told us to have peace with all men. That was really my point to that. When we can't look at someone else's sin and say that it is greater than ours. We like, y'all know how this go, right? Like, you can't look at somebody else without looking at yourself. And because we've all fallen short, it's either let's muster it up to get through it, let it go, and decide how we're going to move forward. Because the longer that we hold on to it, we hurt ourselves. And then we start hurting people that are closest to us. And then people start to look at us different because now we are offending people, or we're reacting to people, or our who we are has changed because our hearts are hardened. So now our character even looks different. And now people see you in that light. But the second you let go of that offense, the change that comes over you, the happiness, the joy from having a softened heart, getting to have a better relationship with Christ, like all of that, it's so beautiful. And that's what Christ wants for us. Christ wants us to be more like him. And if he could die for me, and he could die for you, for all of our sins, why can't we forgive our neighbor for their offense to us? Let's be real. So I am definitely going to add those recommendations for those books somewhere, in this video, at the end of this video. And I just all together too about the post, because yes, some of this did come from the post, but also too, I was going to do a video on forgiveness, so I'm still going to do that video at some point, but I did want to touch on it a little bit because it cannot be not talked about. But I just want to tell you, I am not the type of person that will walk around and try to claim victim to anything. My post was not meant to tell the whole story on anyone. I know that I offended someone deeply, and I know others were offended by my post, and because of that offense, they felt the need to even attack me. which I get it. I have been there. And from somebody who has been there, I'm gonna just tell you, like, I forgive you. I forgive you. And again, forgiveness is a choice. Forgiveness is a choice. The choice, once it is made, the steps that you take afterwards, letting it go, that's really what I want to highlight. Like, the forgiveness video is going to be like clear, like a much deeper dive once I decide to do that, or once I have the opportunity to do it. But I'm just saying, like, with that, I'm not trying to cover up anything bad that happened by deleting the post. But again, because that post offended some people that I do love and that I don't want to offend even more, I decided that it's not the place for it. So y'all not gonna see it if you haven't already. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you don't know what I'm talking about. But that doesn't take away from the content that was in this video, and I hope you got something from it. I'm still here. I'm still me. I'm not perfect, but we're on this journey together. I just want to say that healing is forgiveness, healing is grace, healing is mercy, healing is love, healing is kindness, healing is goodness, but most of all, healing is peace. Okay? And I want to encourage you, don't live with any regrets. No regrets, only lessons.